Hello, welcome to Inktober and a video with me on this side of the camera. I want to talk to everyone about the inspiration of creating and drawing. It can be very intimidating. I know oftentimes I'll lay my pens out and then I've got this very untouched surface, and if I make one mark, how do I know that's the right mark? Or what am I going to draw? I don't know. Is this mark going to be a scribble that I wasted this entire piece of paper and thus part of a tree's life on nothing? Or does all the pressure have to be there? This has got to be perfect. It's hard. It results in something that's called the freeze, or at least that's what I've called it. And it's a real thing. It can stop you from creating. It can stop you from having fun. It's not about how perfect the mark is. It's about having fun while you do it. Made a mistake? That's fine. Make another. I have found that if you make a mistake, if you repeat that mistake and stylize it, it's not a mistake. And if you don't want to repeat it, draw attention to it. Oftentimes my pen will slip, my pencil will slip, I won't be able to erase a mark fully, or I'll smear something horribly. I just draw attention to it. And it doesn't become a flaw or something to point at and say, ooh, wow, the technique is just not there. It becomes, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of drawing it that way. But it adds character. There's really no such thing as mistakes. It's all additions of character. All right, I'm going to pause here for a moment. I've started doing a mandala work by measuring out where the center point of this sheet of 8" by 8" paper would be. Since I cut it, it was easy to know. I put the point in, calculated out about how far I wanted the circle to go out. It's really hard to see with the pencil lines, but you can see this is the mark of the compass. And then I took the same settings that were on the compass and put them on a fixed point, and you mark just on the edge of the circle all the way around, putting the tip, the sharp point of the protractor, mark on the circle, mark on the circle, put the point where you made your mark it again, keep repeating what you're doing. And then eventually you will have 6 points, which is perfect for a mandala, a snowflake, and so on. It doesn't have to be perfect in my world. So here is the 6th petal that I was drawing, and they're all different. This one's really tiny, this one's spaced out. It's okay. Those mistakes, they get washed away in the end from the stylizing, the embellishment that you can do later. At this point, I am starting to get a plethora of lines and become unsure of which ones I'm following. So if I know of some element that I really like, this is when I'll go over and I will start just laying down the base lines that I want to keep. All right, I'm pausing here for a moment. I have gone through and inked up some of the lines that I liked. The pencil is only a guiding line. So the pencil's laid down, the pen can go over, but you don't have to stay with the line. Never have to stay with it. You can always improvise. I love to put curves and arcs into my connecting lines. Very seldomly will I do straight. I love the organicness of the curved lines. So I'm going to keep erasing. And while I'm here, let me actually show you that it looks really neat. Like, oh look, all the lines are great. It's the details that, like you'll notice up over this way, the lines overshoot. They overshoot here. They don't match up here, and there's a little divot there. See, they overshoot here. And that's fine. All those little overshoots like that, I work into the line width. So, after it's erased, because when you erase over ink, it's going to take a few layers of the ink off with it, so the color is not as dark. So this is, as I said, just the baseline. Now you're going to re-ink over all of it to get that dark, saturated look. I like to start where it's easiest to hide if I pick up lines. So I'm going to go over and retrace this line here as for starters. I'm just going to keep going and adding little line by little line. And I've thickened this line here quite a bit. I'm going to leave it narrow right here. But I'm probably going to overemphasize the darkness of this line. Why? Because it gives greater contrast between the thick and the thin. So what I effectively just did is I colored over where this line had overlapped. And that is one of the easiest ways to correct the overlap and start playing with the depth of line. And you don't want them all to be thick and you don't want them all to be thin. Otherwise, that totally negates the variance. And the thickness and the thinness of the lines will also help increase the sense of movement to your piece. I will hold it up. So now you don't see, wait for the camera to focus. Now you don't see any of these lines having overshot here. You've effectively hidden that. And where the lines don't match up on the edges, you've thickened those lines as well. So you can leave it like this. These lines are thinner still than the overall curve, and that's fine. That's definitely a look. So, that is how I hide overlap. I'm going to put it back on time lapse. Hello again. I am going to show you another technique that I'm a fan of using. When I'm combining edges, this is not required, it's something I like to do. When there's a combined corner here, I'd color it in and round it out just a smidge. It makes it a little less contrasty, a little more bubbly. But I like to do that with my lines. It helps dictate where the shadows of the lines are, I guess. So it's hard to see what I've done right here. So let's move. Let's see, can you still see? There we go. Okay, so we're going to focus on this line here. I'm going to round the edges just a smidge. So here's the corner. Start my pen, stroke off, curl it as much as I want, but make sure the ends feed into the existing lines. I'll follow the line down, hit up this corner. So I hope you can see that, but it kind of gives it this I don't know what it's called, just this effect of the lines prying away from these, like a gooey line. Oof, that's a horrible rendition, but I hope you get it. All right, I have the piece inked in, and it seems much bolder than I did before, much more confident, sense of deliberate play, per se, when I can cover up those overlaps and the uneven lines and make the uneven lines deliberate. Now I'm going to go through and add in some of the fine detail lines. And this will be the last step before I color.